So today is the first day of the interaction design workshop. So this is for everyone. If you have some basic knowledge about design and if you want to get into design and learn about UX and also about this interaction design, then this is for you. So we'll see like what we'll cover in this workshop. This will be like a 1.5 to 2 months workshop. In this workshop, we'll try to talk about design, about interaction design to be specific, also about some part of the UX, some part of research, and so about like how to leverage technology and the knowledge about human psychology to create great interactions. So that is what we'll do in the different sessions in this workshop. So who is this workshop for? So this is for the aspiring UX designers. And if you want to learn about UX and interaction design, so this is for you. Even for the designers who have some experience in design, and also for the developers also, they can also learn about interaction design and make use of the learnings in their day-to-day work. And also someone who is interested in knowing how people think and behave, because that is what one needs to understand. If you're a designer, you need to understand, like, yes, about the design, about how to do research, about understanding the problem, but also how people behave. So that is related to understanding their culture, understanding why they behave in a certain way, understanding their history, geography, also about other things like how much they're educated, like who would be using, when they would be using the product. So everything about that. Okay, so we'll try to learn some of these things also in this workshop. Along with that, we'll learn how to create interactive interfaces. We'll talk about how to create great engaging products along with micro interactions, and also about why this is required, how to leverage the learning from the real world and take that to the digital world. So we'll learn all those things. And here the focus will be on what? Focus will be on interaction design. As I said, understanding human behaviors, technology, because when we are creating digital products and interaction for digital products, there what comes is like the technology. So we use technology to deliver products, to create platforms. So understanding some part of technology, some part of human, and then coming up with the design and the interaction. So that is what we'll cover in this workshop. Why it is important to understand about human psychology? Because it is all about users. Whatever we are creating or we create as a designer, we create for the users, for the people. So till the time we don't have an understanding about who they are, why they would be using the product, and when and where they would be using the product, till the time we don't have like this understanding or knowledge, we won't be able to create great interaction. So that's why learning about people, learning about technology, learning about what is the need of the users, we'll try to cover like most of these things, but we'll see how it goes, and then we'll learn new things. So for the new people, this is me. I'm Manpreet. I'm a user experience design consultant and strategist. I build a lot of digital products. I worked in a lot of different domains: finance domain, telecom, tech, then health. So a lot of different domains. So I have good experience working in agile and lean. So I'll try to share all my learnings. And these are the different platforms where you can follow me. That's my LinkedIn, that's my YouTube, then the Instagram, and also this meetup group. Fine. So yeah, so let's get started with the core part. That is the interaction design. So what is interaction design? So we'll learn about that. Experience shapes the way we see our world. Every day when we are interacting with people, when we are using different products or taking different services, we are in one way or the other getting some kind of experience. It might be good, it might be bad, it might be okay, and so and so. So everything depends upon what? Interaction between person to person, interaction between person to device and to or the digital platform. So we experience experiences every day, and it's a part of our life. Experience sometimes are great and sometimes it's not, and it all depends upon interaction. When we talk about interaction, as I said, it's all about people, it's all about digital platforms, the objects, the products, services, and so on. So understanding how people interact with these things and having a better understanding of what is their thought process, okay, what happens in their mind, understanding why they reacted or why they behaved in a certain way. All this is possible. All this you can learn, and learn by understanding this human psychology. So what is interaction design if you have to define? So there are a lot of definition. We'll go through a lot of definition because understanding interaction design is important, and we'll also compare it with user experience design and see how interaction design relates to user experience. Yeah, so what is interaction design? So interaction design, also called as IXD or abbreviated as IXD, is the design of interactive products and services. What is that? It is a process, or it is design of interactive products and services. Interactive means like there are different entities involved in this. People, platforms, In this process, what happens, the designer focus goes beyond the item in development to include the way users will interact with it. Technology is important, but at that particular moment, how will the user react? So that's why as an interaction designer, when we are creating designs, we actually focus on at that particular moment. So if he is on a particular screen, so how will he react? How will he use the product? If there are like 5 different functions on the screen, so would it be visible? And would he be able to understand that there are like 5 different functions? If not, then there's a problem. So the interaction designer focuses on all those things and builds interactive products. So there's another definition. Let's go through this. So interaction design is the creation of dialogue between a person and a product, system, or service. So this is the definition. What's happening here is there's an interaction, there is a dialogue, there is a communication between a person and a product or system or a service. So when this kind of interaction happens, the communication happens between these. So that is basically called as interaction design. So as an interaction designer, we design these experiences. This dialogue is both physical and emotional in nature and is manifested in the interplay between form, function, technology as experienced over time or at that particular moment. So here what happens, the user interacts with the product. When he is interacting, he basically either is able to interact with the product or use the product, and sometimes he's not able to. So everything depends upon like how the interaction has been designed. So the best experience or the best interaction design is built when the designer is able to understand like what is the need of the user, why he would be using the product, and so on. As a designer, you need to have a good understanding about the physical form of the product and also the environment where the user will use the product, and also good understanding or some understanding of technology on which the product would be built. So interaction designer focuses on the way user interacts with product, and when he's creating this product, when he's building the interaction, he focuses on the principle of good communication. He tries to tell a good story. Why? Because when this interaction happens, there's only one human being. The other is like either this digital system or some service, right? So in this case, the communication has to be in the best way. Otherwise, the experience will not be great. So as an interaction designer, you need to be like very good in communication. You should be able to communicate what could be done on that particular screen. So that's why interaction designer focuses a lot on good communication. Now let's also understand the definition of interaction design by IXDA. The IXDA came up with this definition, and its interaction design defines the structure and behavior of interactive systems. So it is what? It is the structure and behavior of interactive systems. So when the user is interacting with the system, how does the system behave? Like if the user has input something or like provided some input information, so the system should respond back to the user. There should be some communication back to him. It's all about the behavior of the system and how the experience has been defined. It basically tries to create good relationship. If the designer is able to create great relationship in the sense of like by providing great experiences, when the users, when they are able to use the product and are able to derive good experiences, then that means like the product is really good. So interaction designers try to create meaningful relationship. So good relationship with good experience between people and the product and the services that they use. And here, some people might use computers to use the services and the product. Some might use mobile devices, or in other cases that might be like about this kiosk, TV, and so on. So there could be like a lot of digital channels, a lot of different platforms. So the interaction should be great, the behavior should be great, the experience should be great. All these things is taken care of by the interaction designer. And when we're talking about interaction design, we also need to understand that yes, interaction design is not a separate field. It's a part of the user experience design. If the complete circle is user experience, then the small part of that is interaction design. And when we're talking about interaction design also takes care of the interface design. Experience design is the whole process. Interaction design is like subset of that or like a small part of that. When we are talking about interaction design, it also covers interface design. So if I have to talk about user experience, what it is basically all about what the user is trying to achieve. So that is what to achieve. Okay. So or what the designer or the product wants to do for the user. And when we are following UX process or talking about UX process, it's all about alignment between user goals and business goals. And when we are following this UX process, we do a lot of different things. We create project scope, we define project roadmap, product roadmap, and then there's a full process that we use when we are working on this, on any of the product or like solving any problem. And that's basically a UX process. And in this process, we do research, we basically synthesize the findings, then do wireframing, then hi-fi designs and testing, and then finally ship the product to the market. Here, a lot of things are involved, like research is involved, persona is created, task flows are created, user interfaces are also designed, and then the testing is done. So that's basically overall process, okay? And that is called as the user experience. Interaction design, if I have to talk, it's all about what's happening at the moment, at that particular moment. So if the user is on a particular screen and is interacting with that screen, maybe registering on the app or something. So whatever happens on that particular screen is the interaction. So user interacting with that screen and doing something. Okay, so everything that's happening at a particular moment is the interaction, and we'll learn all these things like how to create great experiences by creating great interactions. And as an interaction designer, when we are working on interaction design, we take care of a lot of different things. We take care of human factors and then usability and also the technology, whether what we are trying to achieve would be technically feasible. If not, then some alternative should be defined and designed. So here in this interaction design, core thing that happens is basically the users interact with the system. There are a lot of different activities we do here. We try to communicate whatever is required to explain what can be done on the screen. We create visual designs, sometimes motion or basically animation. We use a lot of different words, labels for icons or label for buttons. Those are like different words. And also the behavior, in the sense like if someone acted or did something on the screen, so what is the behavior? What is the response? What is the feedback? So everything is taken care of by the interaction designer. Similarly, we have this user interface. So what is this? So user interface is basically what to make. What to make means like visually, the presentation, what should be the presentation. It consists of like design system, includes branding, visual design, and also the content, like what should be the message, what should be the headings, the title, the body copy, and so on. Here, the output is in the form of screen designs, mockups, prototypes. A lot of visual design is done in this when designing this user interface, and also the designer plays with typography, use a lot of different icons, illustrations, images to communicate and create the visual designs. So interaction design is what? Interaction design is focused on at the moment interaction when a user interacts with a product. Okay, so when the user is interacting with the product, what's happening at that particular moment, that is the interaction design. So it's a part of the user experience process, but as a designer, when the interaction designer focuses and creates these things, he's focusing on what should be done or what should happen on a particular screen. Okay, and here user interface designer, interaction designer, user experience designer, everybody, like whosoever is working on a product, the objective is what? Objective is always to create great experiences. So we need to remember this, that yes, good interaction design leads to good user experience. So good interface will also lead to the good user experience. Similarly, good interaction design will also lead to good user experience. So whosoever is involved in this process, everyone comes together, everyone works together to create great experiences. That is about the interaction design. So what's happening at that particular moment, that is interaction, and the designer who works on creating those interaction is called as the interaction designer.